Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have something that is absolutely not a dinosaur, but we do have a different figure from Hiya Toys that I have never reviewed. This is the Kong from Kong Skull Island, and what's cool about this is, first of all, it's a super articulated Kong, but it's also the first Hiya Toys Kong that I have acquired, so really excited to finally have one. And honestly, even though some people speak negatively about the Kong Skull Island movie, I love it. I thought that was one of the best Kong movies that I have ever seen, and a very rewatchable movie. I watch it all the time. And you can see again, as far as the box art goes, we've got a really nice shot there of the figure on the front. A nice little shot over here of Kong. Again, the logo up there. Over here on the side, another shot of the figure itself, the Hiya Toys logo at the bottom. And then Kong here on the back, kind of leaning up over the information here, ready to punch us in the face. And then over here, another shot of the figure. What do we have up on the top? We have the Kong Skull Island logo. This recently was on sale on Amazon for right around like $40 or something like that. I forget exactly now, but I remember it was a bit cheaper than we usually see the Hiya stuff, so I went and grabbed it. So again, figured I might as well review it. So let's pop it out of the box and check it out. So there is our Kong figure now out of the packaging, and you can also see all of the accessories that it comes with. You've got 3 different versions of hands that you can replace the hands that are on the figure currently with, as well as an alternate head and the tree that you see Kong using. So that's pretty cool to have quite a bit of different, accessories and everything with this figure. We're going to go ahead and move all of this stuff here out of the way for a moment, and then we'll take a closer look at our Kong. Actually, let's readjust the camera just a moment here, and then bring the figure up. So you can see, starting here in the head sculpt of the head that is currently on Kong, we have a bit more of a calm sort of look, but still a little bit tense maybe. I don't know, he looks like he's kind of aggravated, but it looks really good. I can definitely say sculpt wise, I think it looks excellent. The actual skin texture and everything here on the face looks fantastic. We can see the nostrils as well, and again the eyes right there looking pretty much right at us. There we go. And the eyes are really nicely done. Look at that gloss coat. Has a super legitimate, shiny, like wet look to them. Again, giving you that nice eye shine you would expect to see. And the paintwork is really nicely done, very nicely placed. I also notice how good the teeth look. Again, the teeth have like that sort of dirty look. They have like a yellowish tone and a perfect gloss coat applied to that area as well. So that's really, really nice looking. And again, when it comes to Hiya stuff, you always expect like an articulated jaw, but I guess when it comes to Kong, it might look kind of awkward if you had an articulated jaw. So I can appreciate the addition of the extra head, so you can have the more calm sort of look of Kong like we have here, or the much angrier look of Kong letting out a vocalization like we have with the other figure. As you move back into the side of the head, you can see the fur looks really nice. A little change in color, more of like a brownish tone. We have like a black for the skin there on the face, and then we have like a brown as we move back into the fur. You can see a little extra fur hanging off of his chin right there. Moving up, we've got the ears sculpted really nicely, and even more fur, of course, as we move up into the top of the head. You also have some really nice creases there in the forehead of Kong, which is a nice touch. Moving through articulation-wise, you do have the ability to swivel this area, and you also have some neck articulation here, which does also swivel. And do these areas... Oh, this spot on the head moves forward and back, so you can display and pose your Kong really nicely. Again, get some different poses where he's looking up in the air or looking straight forward. So really nicely done as far as that goes. As you move back into the back of the figure, you can see the fur looking really impressive. We've also got some nice musculature here on the back and like the shoulder area. Again, a little variation of color as well, as we have different shades of browns, which looks really nice in person. I don't know how good that picks up on the camera, but here in hand, it looks really, really nice. As we move back around to the front, we can see some of the musculature of Kong. We've got like the pecs and of course a little bit of the abs as we move down. We also have those scars right across the chest, which are painted pretty nicely, and there's a little variation of color to the skin here of Kong. We can also see some wrinkles in the skin as you move down there under the pecs into the stomach, which looks really nice. As we move back up again, higher up into Kong, we can see the fur looking really good, really scruffy and thick fur as we move down through the arm, which becomes even thicker as we lead down into like the forearm area and stuff, which looks really nice. Again, the fur overall is really well sculpted. There's also some dry brushing that has been applied with a lighter brown, which helps to highlight that fur detail. Same deal as we move down into the hands. Leading down to the hands, you can see the hands that are on Kong currently are kind of like held open a little bit. You definitely have more of an open sort of look with just the fingers curled in. We can see the inside of the hand and the palm of the hand and everything detail-wise looks really good. The nails are sculpted out, but sadly there's no variation of color on the nails at all. As we move over to the other arm and everything, you can see pretty much all the same stuff. Very impressive looking articulation it looks like we have in the arms, but we'll get to that point here in just a moment. As we move down, you can see the fur picking back up as they kind of start to obscure and hide the abs of Kong. As we continue to lead down, again, the fur detail is really crisp, really impressive on the figure. Leading into the legs, again, same deal. You've got all sorts of impressive detailing with the fur. Like you can see little areas of the fur kind of sticking up in, I don't know if I'd say like an unnatural way. Like they're not, you know, following with the rest of the fur. Like it's almost like he bumped into something and the fur is kind of like, you know, altered a little bit. I really like those little tiny details like that. Something that I think Hiya Toys is really good at is, you know, giving their figures super impressive sculpts and very lifelike sculpts. But as we move down, again, the fur pretty much looks the same, you know, really scruffy, really impressive the entire way down, really vibrant. As you lead into the foot sculpt, you again have some finer fur on the top of the foot. As you lead out into the skin textured areas of the toes and everything, which also look really nice. Same deal as we move over here to that foot. And you even have really impressive fine detail on the undersides of the feet of Kong. And then if you turn it around, again, same thing back here. You can even see that they've really highlighted his butt cheeks and everything back here. But super nice looking figure for sure. By far one of the best looking Kong figures that I have seen. Articulation wise, again, we already saw the head and neck articulation. The arms can go forward and back and completely swivel around. They can also go out away from the body, which looks really good. You have some articulation right here, which can swivel, so a little extra articulation there. Again, same deal right here, another spot of swivel articulation. You also can swivel the elbow, and then of course you can articulate the elbow in and out, which you can see. And then you also have wrist articulation, which can swivel, but also can go up and down, so you can move those wrists pretty much any way you would like. So the arm articulation is extremely, extremely impressive. As you move down, you do have midsection articulation, which can swivel very nicely. It does have, yep, some forward and back motion right there, which looks really good. You actually can see a little bit more of the stomach of Kong once you pull that back. And then you move down, you have leg articulation, forward and back. Also out away from the body, so he can throw some karate kicks if he chooses to. You have swivel articulation above the knee and below the knee, as well as, of course, the ability to go forward and back with that knee. Pretty much, you know, grabbing whatever pose you would like when it comes to Kong and his legs. And then you also have, of course, some articulation down here in the foot, which can swivel side to side and go up and down in the ankle area. So really nice looking articulation, and it works very smoothly. On top of that, we do of course also have the alternate head, and when it comes to the alternate head, you can see again the eyes look really good, nicely glossed, and the biggest difference on this one would be the mouth. We can see all of Kong's teeth really nicely painted with like that yellowish tone. They've been given a brown wash and a beautiful gloss coat. You have a purple for the inside of the mouth, a light purple, some more of that brown actually wash like that's been applied even to the tongue, and the detail on the inside of the mouth on the upper side is really, really nice looking. So that head is super cool. That's probably the head I'll put on my Kong. Then you also have some hands that are sculpted out into fists, so Kong can punch whoever he's angry at. We also have these hands, which would be more beneficial to holding onto that tree that we have in the set. So some more hands, again, sculpted nicely, painted nicely, that you can switch out for the hands that are on Kong. And then you also have these hands, which are basically all the way open now. Again, so like the other ones you can see are pretty much open, but the fingers are curled, whereas these ones, the fingers are extended. So you can definitely grab any and every pose you would like when it comes to this Kong. And then you also have the tree, and you can see the tree is sculpted nicely. Also has on top of like the brown that you would expect to see for the tree, you have some green that's been applied to it, kind of almost in like a wash-like fashion, sort of giving it the look of having like moss that has kind of crept in and out of all of the different cracks and crevices of the tree itself. And again, it is really nicely sculpted, pretty darn nicely painted. There is a seam as you move down here, a very obvious seam as you lead into the roots of the tree. But once you move down into those roots, you can see even more variation of color. You've got like some really dark browns here, and then some lighter browns as you move out into the roots, which all look really good. And as you can see, it's very flexible as well, which is a huge plus. This area is not flexible, but the roots are flexible, so making sure they don't get damaged. But really nice addition, again, to this set. Pretty much the perfect addition to a figure like this. As far as a size, the best you're going to get for a Kong would probably be the height, and you are looking at a little over 5 3/4 inches, heading towards 6 inches, but not quite there, or almost 15 centimeters on the dot. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect Day Human Being next to our Hiya Toys Kong. And you can see, again, he's not a huge figure, a little smaller than I was expecting, but at the same time, it is the Kong Skull Island version, so he definitely gets larger as time goes on. Through the like Godzilla Kong films and stuff, so obviously this Kong should be a little bit smaller. We also have a comparison to the Rixan Custom Toys Kong, which is actually the same Kong from the original Godzilla vs. King Kong film, as well as the 2014 Godzilla from Hiya Toys, which you can see this Kong is pretty much the same height as that Godzilla. But when you bring in the King of the Monsters Godzilla, you can now see that that figure is definitely quite a bit taller than our Hiya Toys Skull Island version of Kong. And then finally, we have one of the Playmates Kong figures from the Godzilla X Kong line, and you can see that next to the Hiya Toys Kong is pretty similar in size. Definitely way better and way higher detail on the Hiya Toys Kong, also better paintwork, but you can see they are roughly in the same size. So as always, Hiya Toys completely killing it with their figures. This Kong is fantastic. I absolutely love this one. Sculpt-wise, it's beautiful. It's got all sorts of very impressive fine detail. The detail on it is extremely vibrant and impressive. Nothing looks washed out. Nothing looks like it's low quality, which is a great thing for this figure. The paint is also really well done. There's a good bit of, paintwork applied to it, like you've got different shades of browns and stuff, and different shades of like dark grays and blacks. You've got the scars painted out, the eyes and teeth looking extremely realistic. The only thing I would say, maybe some form of color or like a slight shine to the nails would have been nice, but it is what it is. Overall, again, the paintwork is extremely well done. The articulation is also fantastic. It's extremely smooth, stays where it's supposed to, and works really nicely, and there is tons of it, making, again, the figure for sure super articulated. You also have all sorts of extras with an alternate head, different hands, as well as a tree, so that you can complete your Kong display. If you are interested, I will include a link in the description to where I purchased it on Amazon.com. So check that link, pick it up if you want it, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.